Hi there. So in the last video, we introduced social value theory, and we mentioned that your perceived social value depends on a number of different behaviors. In this video, we're going to talk about those behaviors. Specifically, we're going to go through high-value body language and high-value vocal tone. First on the list is high-value body language. So we mentioned previously how large, wide-open body language is often much higher value than small, closed-off body language. And I actually included a PDF with more examples in the next section. But here are a handful of tips for high-value body language while selling. You can't see them right now, but that's okay. Keep your legs wide, about shoulder width apart. Take your hands out of your pockets, because you're actually going to need to use them to make gestures. On that note, learn hand gestures if you haven't already. I linked a couple of resources again in the PDF. For eye contact, look at the person 100% of the time while they're speaking. And while you're speaking, look at them 80% of the time. And 20% of the time, move your eyes around, right? Kind of like this. This is important because it takes the pressure off the person while you're talking. Because eye contact can be very uncomfortable for some people. If you don't know what to do with your arms, put them on your hips. This is high value because it pushes out your elbows and it makes you look really big. And the most important tip is smile. Smiling makes you look both approachable and trustworthy. And these are obviously two very important traits for us when we're trying to close a sale. But, and this is really important, you need to make sure that your smile is genuine. So what do I mean by that? There are actually two different kinds of smiles. Number one is the camera smile, which is the face you usually make when you're either getting your picture taken or being told to smile by somebody. It looks something like this. Number two is the genuine, or what's called the Duchenne smile in psychology. Now, a lot of the time, the smile on the left can look kind of creepy. And the biological reason for this is because there's actually a very small group of muscles near the eye that when people smile due to like a joke or something, contract really strongly. But when they're forcing the smile, these muscles are usually relaxed. And so our brain instinctively understands the differences between the two and labels that one kind of creepy. All right, so that was a really quick primer on high-value body language during a sale. Next up is vocal tonality. And vocal tonality, for those of you guys that don't know, is more or less just the pitch of your voice over time. There's a big difference between somebody attempting to sell a product like this and talking as if they're unsure all the time, or somebody talking like this and seeming much more confident in themselves and the product that they're trying to sell. And you can hear the difference, but a lot of the time people don't actually intuitively understand why. It has to do with how the pitch of your voice changes between the beginning of the phrase and the end of the phrase. In the first pretty low value example, I talked like this, aka the beginning of my sentence was lower in pitch than the end of my sentence, and my voice went up over time. This type of tonality is called seeking rapport, and it's generally low confidence and low reliability. You're going to want to stay away from seeking rapport tonality because it implies you're unsure of yourself and the product that you're selling. And instead, you want to make the pitch of your voice go either neutral throughout the sentence or go slightly down at the end. And that's the way I've been talking throughout the last two videos. So if you want an example, just listen to the sound of my voice. Talking like this implies you have confidence in your product and that you aren't seeking validation from the other person, which is a big no-no in sales. So again, quick guideline for vocal tonality, stay away from seeking rapport. And that takes us to the end of yet another video. In this section, we learned some general guidelines for high-value body language and vocal tonality. This is going to do two things. One, it's going to make us come across as much more confident in our product. And two, it's also going to make us much more attractive, which can be an important deciding component of a sale. And keep in mind, this attraction is not necessarily romantic, although it can be. But when I say attraction, I'm more referring to something like economic attraction or financial attraction to something of high value. Remember, you are the vehicle by which your product makes it to the end consumer. So the higher and more valuable you are, the more valuable your end product will be as well.